Have you ever felt just completely stuck? Staring at a blank page or facing some impossible problem? Well, in this explainer, we're going to uncover the hidden blueprints that can turn that paralysis into a clear, actionable plan. And what's wild is, this works whether you're a student or a leader. So, picture this. On one side, you've got a student just staring at a blank page, absolutely paralyzed by that blinking cursor. And on the other, a humanitarian leader in the middle of a totally chaotic crisis facing these impossible decisions. I mean, they seem like they're worlds apart, right? But at their core, they share the exact same struggle, that feeling of being completely and totally stuck. And that really brings us to the heart of what we're talking about today. Two very different worlds, but one single problem. It's the paralysis that kicks in when you just don't know the moves. You know that feeling? It's like everyone else got a copy of the rulebook and you somehow missed out.
Okay, let's start in the world of academia. So many students feel like academic writing is some kind of test of how smart they are. But the book, The Academic Writing Survival Kit, basically says, nope, that's a total misconception. It's not about having some innate talent. It's about knowing the hidden rules of the game.
The author really nails it with this quote. Academic writing is a skill, not a talent. It is learned, practiced, and improved, not possessed from birth. I mean, that is a huge mindset shift, right? It means anyone can master this stuff, as long as they're shown how. So the big question is, how do you learn it? Well, this is where our first blueprint comes in, the Writer's Toolkit. We're about to look at how this survival kit decodes the mysteries of academia with some really simple, practical frameworks. It's all about turning that mystery into a clear set of instructions.
And here's the secret. The key to a strong argument isn't some crazy, complex theory. Now, it all comes down to the paragraph. If you can nail the paragraph, your entire essay just starts to click into place. Seriously, think of it as the foundation you build everything on.
And one of the most powerful tools for building that foundation is the Peel structure. It's a super simple 4-step recipe for a perfect paragraph. First, you make your point. Then, you back it up with evidence. Next, you explain what that evidence actually means. And finally, this is crucial, you link it all back to your main argument. It's repeatable, it's clear, and honestly, it's incredibly effective. And check it out! Here's how it looks in action. Your point, social media is linked to anxiety. Your evidence, a specific study. The explanation, what that study suggests, and the link, why this actually matters for the bigger picture. See, it's not magic, it's a blueprint.
All right, let's build on that with another crucial move. One of the biggest struggles for writers is figuring out how to weave in quotes and data without it feeling all clunky and awkward. You can't just drop evidence in, you've got to integrate it seamlessly.
And for that, there's another great tool called the ICE method. Again, it's a simple 3-step thing. You introduce the source, you cite the evidence properly, and then you explain why it's significant. This little structure not only makes your writing flow so much better, but it also helps you avoid accidental plagiarism because it forces you to actually engage with your sources. Okay, now for the fun part. We're going to pivot from the world of academia to the front lines of humanitarian crises and to our second blueprint, the leader's architecture. And you're about to see a really fascinating parallel here. Just like writing, it turns out leadership can be intentionally designed. So the book From Crisis to Resilience introduces this powerful idea of leadership as architecture. And what that means is leadership isn't just some personal quality you're born with or a role you inherit. No, it's a system you intentionally design, a system so robust it can actually function even when you're not there. And just like the writer's kit, this leadership book is packed with concrete tools. For example, there's something called the Baidoa Decision Framework for making those high-stakes choices under extreme pressure. There's the concept of narrative sovereignty, which is all about empowering communities to tell their own stories with dignity. And then there's the Ubuntu philosophy, an ethical guide based on our shared humanity, the beautiful idea that I am because we are. These aren't just abstract ideas, they are tangible parts of a leader's blueprint. So, we've got a writer's toolkit and a leader's architecture. On the surface, they seem completely unrelated. But now, we're going to connect them with this incredibly powerful unifying idea, the sovereign mindset.
Remember that core idea from our first blueprint? That academic writing is a skill, not a talent? It's all about empowering the student by just giving them the rules of the game.
Now look at this. The leadership book ends with this thought. Legacy is not what you leave for people, it is what you leave in them. Do you see it? Both books, in their own worlds, are really about the same thing, transferring capability, not just delivering an outcome. It's about building systems and skills that outlast any one individual. And this brings us to what we can call the sovereign mindset.
It's that state where individuals, whether they're writers or leaders, feel empowered because they have the blueprint. They're no longer just depending on luck or raw talent or hoping they pick things up by chance. They can act with real agency because they actually understand the system's design.
So how do you scale a mindset like that? Well, the leadership book offers this brilliant concept called knowledge remittance. Think of it like a financial remittance, sending money back home, but for the mind. It's the strategic, deliberate transfer of all those unwritten rules and that hard-won wisdom to the next generation, creating what the author calls a sovereign workforce. So, why do these blueprints matter so much in the end? Well, it's about way more than just writing a good essay or managing a single crisis. It's about scaling expertise and building real, systemic resilience.
See, when you codify these hidden rules into a blueprint, you democratize expertise. You make it accessible to everyone, not just a select few. This allows great ideas to scale, it builds resilience in both people and organizations, and it shifts everyone from that reactive state of panic to a proactive state of design.
And get this isn't just some theory. The source material points out that Finstock Adversary College is actively equipping over 100,000 students with these kinds of blueprints right now. That is a massive, real-world application of turning hidden knowledge into an accessible, scalable curriculum.
Ultimately, what both of these worlds teach us is a really simple but profound truth. The most powerful blueprints aren't the ones you keep to yourself. They're the ones that are shared.
And that leaves us with one final question for you. Take a look at your own world, your job, your studies, your community. What hidden rules are just waiting for you to come along and draw up the blueprint